those, then you want to listen up. If you're new to my channel, my name is Pam. I do live in a van, so I can talk about that for sure. With my dog Matrix, who's sleeping right over here. We're coming up on to 6 years. I am in a van, and so I was doing a little research today. Thought I'd give you some information because in 2019, when I bought my first van, I paid $92,000 for it, brand new. It was similar to the one I have right now. It was pretty much the same, I guess. It's 22-foot Ford Transit. The model is beyond. It's a Coachman. You know, way too many bells and whistles. But anyway, I paid $92,000 for it. And that was in 2019. I moved into my van January 1st, 2020. And guess what happened 3 months later? COVID hit. When COVID hit, everybody all of a sudden wanted to move onto the road because they didn't want to shelter in place at home. I can't say as I blame them. I had the perfect life already. I was living full time. I didn't need public restrooms because I had my own. I didn't need all of the things that you would normally need if you were even traveling, because public restrooms, nothing was open. So anyway, people were learning how to work at home. And they were finding out that because they didn't want to be stuck in their sticks and bricks, they wanted to get on the road. So that started in March. And so the wave hit a few months later, I would say. And it came so that the vans like mine, for instance, there was a waiting period of at least 1 year before there were any more that were going to be rolling off. And when they rolled off, just like mine, only the next model, the next year, were MSRP and off for about $190,000. And I had paid $92,000. Now my MSRP was $120,000-ish, so I got a discount. So probably on the $180,000 you would too. But the point is that because this happened, there was a huge demand, especially for vans, but for all kinds of RVs, that people were thinking, let's get on the road because, we don't want to be stuck. Then, so what happened was, because it was such a demand, values went up. So this went on for a couple of years. So, yeah. A little more than a year. I looked at the blue book of my van, went to a dealership, and my van that I paid $92,000 for was now bringing in $136,000. I had a great appreciation in my van over that year because of a natural disaster, if you want to call it that. That is not the norm. Okay, that's not the norm. RVs, vans, they all depreciate. I mean, just, there's no getting around it. They all do. But which ones hold their value better than others? Let's talk about that for a minute. Because I was a little surprised at the choice that was so close to vans. Okay, so van really is the one that holds the value, because of its maneuverability. It's small, people like it, they're easy to drive, and so there's more demand for them. The thing about a van that depreciates more than anything else is that I have a Ford, or it may be a Mercedes or a Ram, whatever it is, and that part depreciates just kind of like a car would when you drive it off the lot. It depreciates. So because a van is a drivable RV, then that part depreciates faster than the actual house part. So you have your driver ones are a van, which is a class B, and then you have a class C, and then you have the big old class A's. The class A's, of course, they are the ones that lose the value the fastest, because there is not nearly as big a demand for that size motorhome. Class C's, they're next in line, losing value the fastest, because of they're competing with vans mostly, and there's more demand for a van. Now, when you move over, and this is very interesting. So when you move over into travel trailers and fifth wheels and pickup campers, okay? Pickup campers, they lose value about like you would expect. How's that? Fifth wheels lose value faster than travel trailers. Travel trailers are pretty well like this with vans in holding their value, and they're not drivable, so they hold their value even better than us who lose value because of our van part. But in all of the ones that you're thinking about, the thing, the bottom line part is the type it is. Like, for instance, a Sprinter Mercedes holds value better than a Ford Transit or a Ram ProMaster just because of what it is. And when you move into travel trailers, can you guess which one holds the value the very best? And also, this one also makes a van. So those would hold value the best of all, and they are the Airstreams. So a travel trailer Airstream, also a Casita, and I wrote this one down because I'd never heard of it. Oliver. Those, I think that one is maybe a foreign made one. Those three hold value better than any of the other travel trailers. And when you move into an Airstream van, which is on a Sprinter chassis, that one holds value more than any of the other ones. Fifth wheels are kind of like not so. I think it was a Jayco that is, yeah, the Jayco Red Hawk 22C. They hold the best value for the fifth wheels. So, and so how much value do they hold? Well, pretty much across the board, they all retain about 50 to 60% of their value after 5 years. So if you're buying it for an investment, please don't, because it doesn't work that way. Unless you can buy, some people flip vans for a living. They buy these cheap things, fix them up, and resell them. But that's totally different than actually what we do. So you can figure, just doing rough math, if you buy something for $100,000 in 5 years, it's only going to be worth 50 or 60. And so if you do that per year and then per month, you lose a lot of money on it. So that being said, let me add one other thing. When I bought my second van, it was 2.5 years. I had my other van for 2.5 years. And when I lost it and I had to buy another one, I bought a replacement, which was almost exactly like the one that I had, only it wasn't quite as, the inside wasn't as nice. You know, it didn't have, this one doesn't have maple cabinets, for instance. And so, and it was the same year as mine. And I paid $92,000, which was the same that I had paid for my other one 2.5 years ago, brand new. So they were still holding their value up there because I couldn't find anything that was less expensive. It's not that way now. Now we're back to a market of RVs lose money. There's just no getting around it. So the point is that if you're looking to buy an RV, a travel trailer, a fifth wheel, a van, whatever you're looking to buy it because of your lifestyle and what you want it to be and how you want it to live. Because you're going to know driving it off the lot that it's not worth as much as what you just paid for it. Another thing you want to keep in mind is this. If you finance something, know that, because I know there's people that are upside down because of when they bought them. Know that if you finance something, let's say you paid 100,000, you financed 80, 5 years later, it's only worth 50. You probably still owe 70, 65. So you're going to be upside down. So it's always better, of course, if you don't finance. But even if you have to, keep that in mind, that it's only going to be worth half what you paid for it 5 years later. But still, buy it for what you want to use it for. My van isn't worth what what I would like to have it be worth. It's worth, it, it's competitive in the market for vans. And you think about this too. If my, if I wanted to sell my van and buy another used one, then that used one that I want to buy is also going to be less price or value than it would have been, you know, 5 years ago. So mine may be less, but so is that one. So you kind of have to think of that as like an on an even keel. But still, just buy it for what you want it to. It's just kind of like when you buy a car, you buy a, whatever you, I don't know anything about cars anymore. Let's say you buy a Ford pickup because that's what you want. I know about Ford pickups because that's what you want. You don't assume that it's going to hold its value. Don't assume that you're going to be able to sell it for even what you paid for it, because unless we have another pandemic or some other thing to go with it, your RV is not going to hold its value. So just buy it for fun, to enjoy it, to live the lifestyle that you want to live, and forget about the money part. Just know that it's losing value every single day. But that's okay. For me, it's okay because this is my house and I love it. And I love my lifestyle. And so when you buy yours, think of that too. Thank you so much for joining me this morning for my van life mini talk. And I hope you hit that subscribe button and a bell. I go on every morning, but I'm not real consistent about the exact time. Time zones, all of that. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. If you have anything you'd like me to cover as a subject, please leave that in the comments and I will do it.